right, party people, welcome. What's poppin'? This is another episode of Pop Talk. We are the pundits of pugilism. This is Professor Nim. I'm giving it up for my man, the Casual Rand.
What's up?
Boston Jared.
Peace.
And Coach Dave. All right, so we're going to jump right into the content for the day. And what has been all across the news wire has talked about your man Crawford, who has put a kibosh to the Crawford-Spence fight, at least for this year, maybe forever. He has signed on to fight Avanesian on the BLK Prime. This is a pay-per-view fight at 39, I think 39.95.
Yes.
I don't know much about BLK Prime. Their site is not very impressive. You would kind of think that you might have tripped upon a porn site or something based on some of their of their images. But I think this is one. This might kind of go within the vein of kind of Terrence Crawford making some questionable business.
I don't know about questionable business decisions. It's tough to make a 8-figure mistake in any kind of business, especially
go
with
ahead.
boxing.
Yeah, kind of speak on that. So we can talk about if these numbers are real. I'm not sure where they're going to be able to generate that, but.
What do you mean are the numbers real? This has been my problem with a lot of what I've heard from the Crawford haters, the aerosexuals, the pro Spence people. You know, if it was Spence getting $10 million to go fight on BLK Prime, nobody would have any questions at all. But because Terrence was able to do it, how are they going to do that? Well, where's the money coming from? Are they going to be bankrupt if they keep it? It's like, how do you know? Nobody knows anything about this company. I've never even fucking heard of these people. They could have the richest people in the world backing them. So that's my issue with the narrative. I mean, look, there are plenty of objective boxing people out there who are skeptical, and that's cool. I don't have any problem with that. But what I do have a problem with is the people who are the pro Errol Spence guys, the anti-Crawford people who are questioning the legitimacy of the funds and all that shit. Like, you have no fucking idea about this company. Nobody knows anything about this company. So there's no reason to doubt that the money they're offering is illegitimate. Like,
I think that kind of speaks to some of our kind of reticence to kind of accept that, right? So it's not a well-established company. We know that their website doesn't look impressive. I'm looking at some of the movies that they do have on pay-per-view. So, but it might be Middle Eastern money that's kind of funding this or whatnot. But I mean, apparently, so we will say that. So Terrence Crawford has been guaranteed a $10 million payday.
Right. Well, it said upwards of 8 figures is what I believe it said. So I don't get locked into this $10 million. Randy will come back a week from now and tell me it was $11 million, or it was 11.5. I believe what's being reported is upwards of 8 figures, which to me says at the very least he's going to make $10 million. That's what I've deduced from that. I don't know if anybody else wants to what their take on upwards of 8 figures means, but that's what that means to me. At least 10. And shit might be 11 or 12. We have no idea. It's a lot of fucking money.
Wouldn't that? I mean, I don't want to count anybody's pockets, but I mean, wouldn't that represent, his like highest payday?
More than double his highest payday. Well, maybe not double. I think he got 6 for Porter or something like that. And maybe he got 6 for Porter.
Or Amir Khan, I thought was his high. Maybe Porter might have been his, but I thought Amir Khan might have been.
Yeah, but this is almost double his highest payday, man. I mean, that's a huge amount of money. He wasn't going to get that fight.
Does that add up against an Avanesian who has a European title and is basically a no-name here in the
Does US. What add up? What do you mean?
Do those numbers add up where a guy would get almost double his payday, his highest payday for a fight on a kind of nondescript pay-per-view prime subscription channel?
This is the Al Heyman model. This is literally what Al Heyman did when he started commandeering.
I tell you,
let's be clear, this is not an Al Heyman.
He started overpaying guys. Eddie Hearn did the same thing. It's the Al Heyman model. Eddie Hearn came in and started throwing big dollars at people. God bless him, and those are my people. Demetrius Andrade and them guys were getting $2 million to fight guys like Machai Soletsky and Arthur Countin Doku. I mean, this is not something that's unusual. We've been seeing this is something that Al Heyman started. Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya started. This overpaying fighters.
Oh, come on, man.
Yes,
all right, go ahead.
Overpaying fighters.
Go ahead.
It absolutely is. It's the Al Heyman model. He's the one that started doing this. Remember Al and Oscar tried taking him to court because he was saying he was gonna completely destroy the market because he's grossly overpaying guys. And he's been doing it. Other guys copied it because it works. I mean, these are guys that I guess got deep pockets and they're trying to make a splash. Nobody knew what Black Prime was before they offered Terrence Crawford upwards of 8 figures. Now they've got all kinds of advertising. Everybody knows who Black Prime is now within the boxing community, just off of this Terrence Crawford deal. And now they've got another guy. Say what you want about Adrian Broner, but he apparently believes in the money they're paying him. So
we'll see. I don't think he has a lot of avenues to kind of turn. He's kind of burnt about every bridge that he's ever kind of.
Are you sure? Are you sure, or was he contractually locked into something that he really didn't give him a lot of flexibility? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. I mean, you don't think Eddie Hearn would have paid a lot of money for him and Conor Benn? I mean, because that's a much more sensible fight.
I don't think that he trusts Adrian Broner. I don't think that after his last debacle, he's somebody that is he literally pulled out of a fight. Was it a week before or 2 weeks before the fight?
2 days.
2 days before the fight. They had to kind of scramble to find another opponent, and that is disastrous. And it wasn't an injury, and I'm not making light of any mental health issues, but those issues just don't pop up the week of the fight.
Well, Eddie Hearn has been covering up drug tests for the last couple of years, so I don't know that Eddie Hearn is in a position to be question the trustworthiness of anybody. I mean, we never got.
We don't have evidence.
Samples, and apparently, this kid Conor Benn has popped positive twice now, right? So I don't know that Eddie Hearn is in a position to be questioning anybody's integrity about what if fights are gonna go down or not. So
all right, let's bring in the casual one. So you have been one of the kind of bigger critics of Bud Crawford, and I will have to say that I did have to capitulate a bit with some of this latest news. I'm just not really understanding some of his moves at this point, and they don't really kind of speak to legacy. And like, if you go out there and get your money as part of that. But I mean, what are your thoughts on these latest developments?
Hold on, I want to address something that Jared just touched with Broner. Shit, I mean, pretty much crapping on a fight the day of, and then you still think that he should be marketable for that promotion company. Let's go back, real life or real life scenario. What was Dave? What was Supernova's name?
Adrian Supernova.
No.
Shit.
The one that passed.
This is a different.
The one that was in Atlanta.
You talking about
O'Neal? You talking about O'Neal?
O'Neal Bell. O'Neal Bell was a champion. Yeah. And he sat down and didn't come out the corner, and he said he had vitiligo. He was blackballed after that, period. Right. No promotion, no nothing. That's when we met him, because he was on his comeback, trying to make a comeback fighting at Fort Myers, trying to come back into boxing, because after he sat down with vitiligo, he was blackballed. So what do you think a fighter that just say, yo, I got mental issues 2 days before the fight, after the promoter's done put all that money into that promotion, is going to do to that fighter?
I mean, ask ask Ryan Garcia. What would Ryan Garcia say to that answer? What would his answer to that?
But that was months. He backed out way. He didn't give 2 days.
Okay, well, why don't we ask Jose Uzcategui, who popped positive for David Benavidez fight and is now getting a Benavidez fight again in a couple weeks. Like, hey, I mean,
I just gave you an example, and then second. You be talking off both sides of your mouth, man, and especially against PBC. You just said you don't want to talk about BLK prime money. He might get Saudi money. We don't know. But on the other flip side of your mouth, you be like, oh, man, PBC going bankrupt. They can't pay for this, pay for that. What part in life, where have we seen a boxer not get paid from PBC? Or they put on a fight and they had to renege on a fight because they didn't have the finances to go through.
I mean, Adrian Broner's out here talking about Al Heyman still got his money.
We just talked about fucking crazy ass Adrian Broner. We just talked about it. So
Floyd
he ain't gonna be your source of information.
Floyd Mayweather is out here fighting guys in Japan with no Heyman and no PBC.
Is he PBC or is he a sanctioned fighter? Is that when he win that fight? Is he gonna go to 51-0, or is that an exhibition fight?
It's an exhibition fight.
So why are you talking about PBC and Floyd Mayweather?
Because Floyd, you can't, according to Floyd Mayweather, you don't do business with.
Come on, man.
So
tell me what Al Heyman say. You know what I'm saying?
Al Heyman doesn't say anything.
Well, then everything that's coming out your mouth about it is just pure conjecture at this point.
No, it's not, because Tim Smith works for with Al Heyman, and according to Floyd Mayweather, you can't do anything with PBC unless you're doing it with me. He said Al Heyman is his second. Hold on one second. This is according to Floyd Mayweather. Al Heyman is like my second father. I talk to Al Heyman daily. So why shouldn't I take Floyd's word? You think he's just outright lying? Is he just lying about that? If anybody knows what Al Heyman is up to or what is on his mind, it's going to be Floyd. Go ahead.
I disagree with that. Because you know what I'm saying? Because right now, Floyd and Spence, they don't fuck with each other. You think Spence going to let Floyd have any negotiations in his contract? Has he ever?
I mean, if you ask,
can be capped sometimes. I mean, come on, it's like
okay, but I mean, Floyd has been the single most reliable source of information and most consistent source of information on this fight so far. Not Keith Idec, not Mike Coppinger, not these guys on YouTube. Floyd Mayweather told us months ago
WBC
fight was not going to happen. It's going to happen. This fight may happen. I believe what Floyd said was this fight may happen, and if it does, it's going to happen later down the line.
He's influenced it. At the same time, man, y'all got to look at the bigger picture. At the same time, when he was saying that, he was still trying to get Crawford to sign to him. So if he goes in the ear, be like, hey, man, push this off, man. I have this work. Why can't that be a possibility? You keep giving us possibilities or this and that. Why can't it be on the other way around? Well, Mayweather actually trying to put the kibosh on it and be like, hey, man, push this out. Let me sign to me. And then in 2023, we can have the biggest fight in the world. Because he came out and he was like, after the Crawford fight was announced, Mayweather came out and was like, hey, man, y'all relax. When me and Pacquiao first was supposed to fight, we was only supposed to get like 1 million or something. But now when we did fight, it was like the biggest fight in the world. Showing me that he wants to let this shit cook. So I don't listen to Mayweather, man. Y'all,
it's been cooking for years.
Well, yeah, I think that's his point.
You brought up Mayweather, and I'm just telling you what Mayweather said, and now you counter it.
I mean, I will say that if more boxers kind of take Mayweather's advice, it's going to be a terrible landscape. We're not going to get key fights at all.
And then, so back to your point, Jared, you were like, "Oh, he's getting offered $10 million." One, nobody ever seen that. That's hearsay, just like the other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean? No one's seen what?
What? A contract saying that he's going to get 8 figures.
We have to see contracts now to verify what fighters are getting.
The last episode, you were telling me 35%, and then we found that wasn't true. And I told y'all then it wasn't true.
Okay, well, 35% he's getting the short end of the stick, which is what's being reported by Coppinger. So it's between 35%.
He still agreed to it. He still agreed to it.
It's between 35 and 45%.
No, let me get back to my point. I'll let you talk. That's why I didn't say anything when y'all talk.
10%.
So now you saying the dude's gonna make $10 million. That's
no. I said very specifically that what's being reported is
eight figures. Okay, 8 figures. I'm just gonna say 10 million at the minimum. Okay.
Okay.
So that's what you're saying, and it's like the more than what Spence was gonna offer. Reporting coming out that they offered them 15 million to fight.
Where do you see that?
That came out like 2 days ago.
ESPN, Coppinger, Keith Idek.
It's not going to be ESPN or Coppinger, period, man. Come on, man.
No. There is a report from Coppinger that says that Crawford, I mean, and it's almost verbatim what Boston talked about. Crawford will earn a career high 8-figure payday.
We agreeing to that. You stopping me for something that we both just agreed
to. But you saying that Mike, this is reported by Mike Coppinger.
So about the 8 figures. Yes.
I mean, 8 figures is at least
you want to see. We
agreed to that. We was talking about the 15 million that PPC supposedly offered Crawford for his fight.
But according to who? Where do you see that? I haven't heard that, Randy. I've never heard anything about 15 million.
You just kind of pull that out of the genie's head on that. But let's please do.
So, but hold on. So I'm trying to address everything that you just brought up, and then so the BLK Prime, you wondering where they get the money. And I say, man, they to me they look like MTK Global. To me, they the black version of MTK Global until they prove me otherwise.
So you're saying that they are funded by illegal money?
Because I think they washing money.
Hey, hold on.
Based on what? Go ahead, Dave. Please, Dave. Please,
go
ahead. Dave, please talk to this.
I just don't see the money. I don't see who's paying that money for that result. So hold on. Let me talk this out. So
but you talk out some wrong information on BLK Prime. If it's what I'm trying to get at. So let me scoop y'all on that a little bit. So, go ahead, but be careful what you say.
No, please talk, Dave. No,
I'm just saying that.
I mean, we'll let the casual one close, but all right.
Let me close.
We can't have you dominate. I know you have, sticking your crawl, for Crawford, but like we got to let the pundits weigh in.
I can say whatever I want to say.
No, what I'm saying, but you can't like dominate the whole. It's pundit.
I'm just going to everything Jared, brought up. I'm trying to address. So even with the $10 million are the 8 figures that they get ready to pay Crawford for his fight, and then the Broner $12 million for his fight in 3 months.
Wait.
Well, no.
Three fights in
he signed
1 year,
an 8-figure 12-month 3-fight deal.
Yes, 12 months, 1 year, 3 fights. Right. So that's what they're signing on. So if you look at what they signed on for this pay-per-view that they're scaring come up, and I think that's the next segment. The math is not going to add up, bro.
What math, Randy? What? Go ahead, Dave. Please talk, Dave. I'm listening, Dave. I got to reload here.
Hey,
tell me. So
well, one thing I want to say. Hold on. Like one thing is, Broner's not going to fight 3 times in 12 months. I don't see that. I'd be surprised. When the last time he's been in the ring? I'll go and look that up. But all right. Coach hasn't said anything. We want to make sure because we do need to kind of put a bow on to this segment. But then, as promised, we're going to let you close the casual rant. But Coach, so just what are your thoughts on all of this? Right. So this all stemmed from us not getting the present that we were promised, which was the Crawford and Spence fight. So at this time, what are your thoughts on Crawford fighting Avenesian on the BLK Prime? And then you can kind of weigh on this payday that he's going to get or not, but just kind of give your thoughts on where we stand with this situation.
So whoever this cat is, he fighting Crawford probably gonna whoop the jokers. You know what? Period. Hands down, I think Crawford gonna lay the guy out. That's just about the fight of itself. I'm not mad at Crawford. Definitely not mad at Broner or whatever for trying to sign with this quote BL Prime group, and I get into that a little bit later. Crawford left what Top Rank or Bob Aaron or whatever. So I'm not gonna hate on anybody trying to get out there and get the money. Would I love to see the fight when they said the fight was supposed to happen? Yes, but that's just the nature of boxing. Look how long it took for us to get doggone Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be frustrating as long as boxing is boxing. You know what I'm saying? So people gonna milk it. It's gonna happen. I don't think it's an issue of either one of these fighters being afraid of one another, man. That's just not that it. It's just the boxing game is the way it is when it comes to money. You can thank, Floyd Mayweather and stuff like that for that now. You get what I'm saying? But this BL Prime stuff, man. So just kind of looking into it, man. So this BL Prime, and people wondering about who are they, where's the money coming from? So the actual BLK Prime stuff, basically it's like this American entertainment company. But the actual company was founded by this wealth investment management group over in Silicon Valley, man, called EFC. And then when you go to that EFC website and you just kind of start looking at it and seeing what they're involved in, man. So it looked like this, and I don't know if they're brothers and sisters or if they're married or what, man, but this looked like this black lady named man and woman named Corey and Delilah Chapman. But these guys, but just the wealth investment company in of itself is off the chart and making some bank, looking at the just different clienteles and all that stuff. But what it says about that BLK Prime is that it was founded, and the true owners of that company is this EFC wealth management company and stuff, man. That's
which is a black-owned company, which is good. I mean, they're gonna take,
which is exactly what Al Heyman did, by the way, right?
Right.
Which is exactly what Al Heyman did.
So going back to my point,
go ahead, finish, Dave.
I'm gonna wait and see what these guys are doing. So if you just now getting into it, man, it makes sense to get somebody like daggone Crawford. It even makes sense to get somebody like daggone Adrian Broner, whether he fight or not, just because it's going to attract even more people, to that. And God forbid, don't let me see, what if this is a trend of PVC fighters rolling out to this BLK Prime? I think we just got to wait and see, man, what this thing develops into. And it's always good to have some new meat into boxing. So it's not just Golden Boy, Mayweather, top rank, and damn, the brick guy, Hearn.
Eddie Hearn. Yeah, I mean, I do understand that. But I mean,
what's your take, Cam?
Crawford against Avanesian. So I mean, for me, I mean, I'm in support of black businesses and all that. But a lot of times, if you don't necessarily know the business of boxing and stuff, just because you have money doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a good venture. With PBC is different, right? So this is Al Heyman, who is one of the kind of smartest people in boxing when it comes to just the business side and negotiating. And
is he?
I think so. I mean, that was why Golden Boy at one point with him and Richard Schaefer. I mean, that was why they were at one point the creme de la creme when it came to boxing in there. And obviously,
wait a second.
He's able to get his fighters paid.
They were all on one network, Cam. Remember, everybody was on HBO. So all this, there was no sides of the street. It was different managers, promotional companies working on one side of the street. So then Al Heyman tried to steal Golden Boy's fighters.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was him and kind of Richard Schaefer. But I think what they saw somebody at the time who was a very unstable head of the company, right? At that time, Oscar was going through a lot of different stuff, and I think that was part of the coup that they. I mean, it doesn't look good, but when you think about Floyd Mayweather, when he became Money Mayweather, that was a direct product of working with Al Heyman, and I think he will even say himself. And then when we talk about the business of boxing, you can say what you want to say about Floyd Mayweather, but nobody has really kind of done it better than him when it comes to that.
But for the audience, Dave, just real quick, Cam, what was the name of that wealth investment?
It was
EFC.
EFC. Here, let me get the exact name for you real quick.
EFC Wealth Management.
Yeah, I think that's what.
What it sounds like? It sounds like these people have access to a lot of money from rich people. They keep it all in a pot, and then they invest it how they see fit. Is what that sounds like to me, like they need to invest a hedge fund or some shit like that.
They need to
okay. Just for our viewers and our listeners' edification, this sounds very, very similar to what Al Heyman and Ryan Caldwell did with Waddell and Reed. It was a wealth management firm. They had access to a bunch of people's money, and they took it and they invested it in a boxing business. That's why they were able to throw around big bucks in the beginning. When PBC was first founded, they're throwing around big bucks because it's other people's money. Well, eventually that money runs out.
But why are you calling out the Zone? Because the Zone did the same thing.
I did call out the Zone.
You ain't mentioned the Zone this whole episode.
I've mentioned it before, or I may have mentioned it on air because I have.
So I want to go back to the crux. You know what I'm saying? All right. So I don't hold nothing against Black Prime with this, and why I say I don't is because who was I listening to? Shout out to Boxing Ego. Boxing Ego.
Oh my God! So that I see what the fucking problem is.
No, but because it no matter who says it, but he found a interview of Avenesian's trainer saying that like during the Porter time, Crawford was trying to make a fight with him when he was still with Top Rank. That he was scheduled trying to make a fight with Avenesian then. So
who was with Top Rank?
Come out of smoke.
Crawford.
So Avenesian didn't just come out of nowhere. He's been trying to plan a fight with this guy.
Yes. Do you know why?
Because his career shows that he goes against the least matter passages.
No, that's not why. The reason why
you want to tell me because all those people signed the PBC and they ain't gonna fight him, and then Ortiz is signed to so and he ain't gonna fight him.
Well, that's actually factually accurate. That's not something I'm just saying. It's actually accurate. The other reason is because Frank Warren and Bob Arum have a relationship vis-a-vis Tyson Fury. Frank Warren, who is the owner of Queensberry Promotions. Do you know who David Avenesian's promoter is?
Queensbridge.
It's Frank Warren. So if you're Bud Crawford and you're signed to Top Rank and you don't have access to any welterweights, you only have a few directions to go. And David Avenesian was a viable fight. I'm not saying it's a good fight.
Is Boots Top Rank or he just signed to ESPN?
Boots is signed to
Showtime.
He's signed to Showtime.
So what are you saying to me? You just said the PBC. So I'm telling you, there's Ortiz is signed to who?
It's signed to Golden Boy.
So you telling me other fighters, and so all these promotion companies, I'm not going to deal with none of these top fighters that have to show my skill set and have a top fight. I'm just going to go, let me pull you up. Because apparently they offered.
So
when he was at Top Rank, he was still. It shows that he was still trying to do that shit when he was at Top Rank.
Apparently they offered Virgil 1, 2.
Show the receipt because Virgil just tweeted. He was like, "Man, if that would have came my way, I would have jumped on."
Well, you tell me this. When have you known Oscar De La Hoya, who's the promoter of Virgil Ortiz, to not run to social media and flap off at the fucking jibs when someone ducks one of his fighters? Because he does it all the fucking time. You haven't heard a peep from Oscar De La Hoya about Terrence Crawford and Virgil Ortiz.
All right, so what you got to say about Boots then?
Boots is the one fight that I think maybe could have been made. And I think that Boots is too dangerous a fight for him to want to fuck with Boots at this point. That's the one fight that maybe could have been made. And maybe because apparently Espinoza and Al aren't fucking with each other right now for whatever reason. That's the one.
Your answer to everything is Al controls the boxing universe, and whatever good or bad is Al has his hand in it.
Well, let me ask you this: who has in boxing assigned to who?
You broke up.
Yeah,
right?
you broke up.
The top welterweights in boxing are signed to who? Who are the top welterweights?
And then, so my argument, you knew that coming in, and then so you.
All right, let's go ahead. All right, because we're not really making a lot of kind of.
Can I make one more point?
All right,
I mean, it's good content. We might as well keep going. I mean,
we're gonna move on. I mean, we've been on this for 30 minutes or whatnot.
One more point.
Enough time. Go ahead.
Jared, one of Jared's favorite saying is Boots. When he was coming up, he said that Thurman, Spence, Porter, all of them said get a belt first before they fight.
Whoa! I didn't say that about Boots. They said that.
No, I said Boots. I'm talking about Crawford.
Yeah, that's what they did say. They all said that.
One, you got to show me receipts that any of them said that.
Oh God!
Because listen. How many fights
said that?
How many?
Thank you.
Tell me how many fights did Bud Crawford have at 147 without a belt?
He had one fight, right? He moved up and he fought Jeff Horn immediately.
He fought Horn
immediately.
But
why
Horn
would
had
I
a
tell
belt.
you to get a belt first when you coming up with the belt?
I didn't hear what you said. You broke up.
I'm saying, why would they say get a belt first? Because soon as you in the division, you have a belt. That makes no sense. That's the made up shit that Crawford
Horn
said.
had the belt.
Until y'all show me where
Horn had the belt. Horn had the belt when he beat Pacquiao, and he was calling them dudes out when he was at 140. That's why. Right? Then they told him, after they told him to get a belt, they told him that to leave Bob. That's another thing these motherfuckers said, man. He didn't have a promotion. Man. Like, come on. He didn't have a promotion. This is his promotion. He chose to go to Bob and fight for that belt. He could have went to PBC and wiped out all 3 belts. He chose that route, man.
Okay, all right, man. This is part 2 of Devin Hooker and your man Clay Thompson and stuff like that. The light skin fight. So we're gonna.
Who said Devin? Who?
Devin Booker.
Oh, that's right. They digging into a fight. That's right. I gotta go check that out.
Yeah. But so with that said, let's talk about something that does kind of impact PBC and their funding model, and which is the pay-per-view numbers for Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius came in, and they were not pretty at all. We're gonna say that they are firmly in the red, and that is not a good thing because they
77,000, right?
77,000 is the reported number.
Which Rick Glaser, who the Crawford, who the Spence fans and the PBC boys love to hate on, Rick Glaser gave us those numbers like a week ago, like a day or 2 after the fight. So
really,
for all y'all out there that like to shit on Rick Glaser, who the fuck is Rick Glaser? Who is this guy? He gave us that number days before Dan Raphael released that shit today. Just FYI. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cam.
But so with that said, and we'll start with the casual one because I see he came prepared. He's actually has notes and stuff like that. So what do you think that this means for PBC going forward? Not just, and then we can kind of speak with them and how they're going to handle Deontay Wilder. So do we need to kind of pull back on having him fight these pay-per-view fights unless it is against a viable opponent like an Anthony Joshua or even somebody like a a Dillian White at the lowest. But do you think that having Deontay Wilder fight on pay-per-view is going to be a viable business model for PBC?
I mean, I think this one, I think the expectations was low anyway. I think when I heard most people talk about it, they said like they expected 150. But then you got to realize what day it came on. My name is the Casual Ram, but I ain't a casual fan. You know what I'm saying? But the casual fans, they got fights starting at 2:00. You know, and the professor we was all up there watching this in North Carolina, and my old ass, I had to take naps. You know what I'm saying? We had fights starting at 2:00, all the way through 1 in the morning. You know, so I think casual fans were like, look, man, I got my fill of boxing, so I'm not going to sit there and buy a pay-per-view for somebody to see Wilder knock out his training partner.
But I mean, it's heavyweight. Usually, like the biggest draws are always heavyweight fights. Not only that, it's the return of Deontay Wilder.
True, but still, like I said, man, it was a fight overload weekend. And then, but the gate, I have yet to see the number on gates, but it seemed like the place was packed at the Barclays. He's fighting his sparring partner. And we had a whole bunch of other like top-notch fights that we.
So I think that's fair. So right, we also have to remember that there was a cancellation that was 5 weeks prior. So that put
the Shields, the women's fight did.
So that put the Shields and the women's fight on that same date. Not only that, right? We had the Haney and Camboso's fight in there, but to me, as a boxing fan, I'm like, I love them. I'm bored on this.
The promotion side, the planning side, they couldn't have foreseen that because of the Clarissa Shields part. But yeah, man, that was.
They could have foreseen playoff fucking baseball though. Isn't that what the Yankees were on?
So that means football and shit. Then you pretty much saying that we shouldn't have fights from like November through January. That's
not on pay-per-view.
Hey, so put it like this. Then I mean, this is the last thing I'm in on this. All right, so it was 77,000 pay-per-views at $80, $75 per pay-per-view, right?
$80.
All right, let's say 80. Now multiply that to get your answer, and then go to Terrence Crawford, and we'll see. Their pay-per-views are $40.
Yeah,
but they're if you see that they're backed up against Top Rank, they're backed up against their own fighters. So Keyshawn, Bomac going to figure out. Bomac going to have to figure out if he's going to go to the Terrence Crawford fight or the Keyshawn fight.
No, he had nothing to figure out.
Huh?
He has nothing to figure out.
I'm just saying they both fighting on the same day. So Top Rank got a card the same day as the BLK card is. So
what that got to do with money? You was talking about money.
I'm saying, so they let me finish this out. Y'all shitting on Deontay Wilder's number, and I'm telling you, the 75,000 times 80 pay-per-view is going to shit on Crawford's $40 pay-per-view in December.
So so that is at $80 a pop, that is $6,160,000 that they get. You know, that's just from the pay-per-view. You know, there's the gate, but we're assuming that Deontay Wilder got at least 8 figures for this fight. So they still have almost $4 million to make up without even kind of paying.
Yeah. I didn't bring up the purse that they paying out the fighters. I'm talking about the pay-per-view.
No, but I mean, that's what you have to make the numbers. You know, you have to, like, that's why the numbers have to make sense. It's because of the purse.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm going on totally gross. You know what I'm saying? Because I never said anything about the gate. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure, I'm 1,000% sure that the ticket to go to damn Barclays is gonna be 100 times more than going to the damn whatever the fuck center they showing.
But it's not just that, Randy. It's not just that. It's not just pay-per-view buys. It's parking, it's gate, it's merchandise, and you have no idea what kind of deal PBC has with the Barclays and what kind of deal BLK Prime has cut with the people who run the MCI Plus or the MCI Center or wherever the fuck it's going to be at.
Something
We just
else.
don't know. So it's like it's just
You don't. So you don't know. So that's why I boiled it down to pay-per-view numbers. Y'all start bringing in extra, you know what I'm saying, variables, and then we can go down that rabbit hole. But if you wanted, when we started this conversation, y'all started with the 77,000 pay-per-views. And I'm ending my portion saying that with the 77,000 pay-per-views, it's going to be more than the Crawford Avicii fight.
So, but what does that mean? Randy, but if the Avanesian Crawford fight is able to make money in the PBC event, they lose money. What difference does that make? Let's say Crawford does less buys.
It's the same argument. How are they gonna make money? They paying Bud eight figures.
And how much are they paying Avanesian?
No, I don't know.
At least fee? What's the site fee? At least gonna make that.
Now you're going back, bringing in other variables. I'm going by pay-per-view numbers. I went attack one avenue. Y'all bring,
but that's not how you do that, Randy. Because that's just,
bro.
That's not,
bro. Put it like this: that Wilder fight is going to do better than the damn Crawford fight.
Better in what sense? You think the Wilder fight is going to? Do you think the Wilder fight is going to break even, lose money, or make money?
So one that to add a variable. So the Barclays for boxing has a capacity of around 16,000. So this is not like.
And what's the capacity of the?
I think it's 20,000.
Yeah, I'll figure out. Yeah,
what is it? The MCI Center. And I tell you this, I bet you it costs less to rent that center where Crawford's fighting. You also got parking because there's no metro. You can't take the train to the Barclays.
You bring in variables that will never be ill. That we can argue this all day because those numbers are never going to be put out.
You're right, but the point I'm trying to make
is the numbers
Randy,
that are going to be put out is the pay-per-view numbers. So you'll know that if he did 100,000, if he do 100,000 and he charging $40, and then he do X amount of pays, and then Wilder did 77,000 at $80. And you know what I'm saying? He's going to have X amount of money. That's all I was putting together.
But that's not how you determine if an event is successful or not. It's, do you make money? Do you break even? Or are you in the red?
Bro.
Well, but part of it, though, is one thing I do want to add. So I think this is more close to the zone in their kind of funding model. Because I think you have to subscribe to BLK Prime, which is around $3 or $4. So they're banking on that we're going to get an uptick in subscribers.
Wait. We got to make sure we're being specific because the zone has subscription rates and they have one-time buy fees, right? Like with Canelo Alvarez, if you had a DAZN subscription, you were able to get the fight at a subsidized rate, right? With this BLK model, that's not the way it's been explained to me. From what I understand, it's a $40 one-time fee. So it's not really the same as what DAZN is doing because DAZN has yearly subscriptions. They have quarterly subscriptions. They have 6-month subscriptions. So I don't think it's the exact same. Not to nitpick.
Okay, yeah, I think that. So I'm looking at it now. And if you go on to there, it looks like there is a button to subscribe, which is at $3.99 a month, and then a button to do a pay-per-view. But there is not a lot of information around that. But I think that it would be kind of port right. So if you're trying to increase your subscribers for it, wouldn't they have some type of a model that would allow them to get a discount on a pay-per-view if they subscribe to the? You
would think so, but who subscribe to BLK Prime? I think they're just banking on people wanting to see Crawford. Again, $40
really? Really?
I mean, let me ask you this. Do you think is Avanesian any less or more well-known than Victor Postal?
To me, he is. I mean,
as a person who follows boxing, but as a
no, they're both just kind of foreign names in there. But
exactly, that's my point. This thing probably does the same amount of buys, hopefully, as like a Victor Postal, and they did like what 85,000 buys or something like that. I think Victor Postal.
And do you remember the rates roughly for that?
No, I don't remember. I don't remember the rate.
All right. So I mean, boxing is they're gonna have to
crazy
find money.
Isn't this shit fucking crazy?
This is
man?
gonna be so Coach, as a promoter and as a coach, do you think that you know, with giving these pay-per-view numbers that are there, that do you see a future for Wilder in this doing another pay-per-view fight? I mean, I guess at this point he really has to fight pay-per-view, right? You can't really bring him back to in any other kind of funding model because he just commands too much money. So
yeah, all right. So I think I mean, look, a lot was said, man. Y'all jokers was, you know, and I talk about it, man. I mean, I prefer to stay on the boxing and the training side, but since I do promote and do all that stuff, I think the most important thing said today, believe it or not, man, was Boston Jared. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. I don't care what you know, different, you know, ways you think about it. At the end of the day, I'm trying to tell you, at the end of the day, any promoter at any level, all right, did I make money? Did I break even? Or did I lose money? That ain't that at the end of the day, all the hypotheses and all that shit you want to think about it. Look, man, did I make money? Did I break even? Or did I lose money? That's what everything boils down to. So Jared, like, absolutely excellent point in terms of, you know, I think just showing your diversity and the holistic look at this boxing stuff. You know what I'm saying? We can analyze fight, but on that business side, as a promoter, that's what you're going to be thinking about. And really, that's with any business. That's with any business, man. So with Wilder, though, hey, look, man, you can't bring this joker back down to club fights. You know what I'm saying? You can't. He can't go fight in the gym. He can't, you know, it's going to have to be some type, you know, of televised event. And people will still want to go and see him. The big fights that's out there, I mean, honestly, man, he got to be strategic and select with it, man. And that's just it. You know, I would rather see him go do something with some of those cats over in England or somewhere, man, and make all that. If we're talking about money, I would rather see him go, because, you know, if he don't fight Fury, you know, Joshua, I mean, it's just it's limited. If he's not going if he's not going overseas to fight, then he need to go ahead on and just rebrand himself as the joker that's knocking off all these new up and comers. Go on and fight Anderson and some other folks that might be trying to come up. But if you're trying to get bank and money, get overseas and fight in London.
I think he could go to Abu Dhabi and get
how many
about 40 mil.
How many pay-per-views y'all think if he fights Ruiz?
I said over 200, between 200 and 250, 275-ish, maybe. If they promote the shit.
Strong. That's strong.
And you don't think that's y'all think that's chump change?
No, if they're paying Wilder $20 million to fight, it is. Yes, Randy. That's why I said
it really depends if it's at $80 a pop. So, for example, for them to make $10 million on pay-per-views at basically $40 a pop, they would need to sell 250,000. So this is for the Bud fight, right? So if you double that, right? So basically 20 million. So if they do 250,000 at $80 a pop, that would be $20 million just on pay-per-view.
But remember, Cam, a percentage of that goes to the broadcaster. So if that's on Fox or if it's on whatever, it goes to the broadcaster. So that's money that's overhead right there, right? And that's what I always, whenever I talk to these cats, when everybody compare pay-per-view numbers, or so-and-so to this, so-and-so to, all that shit is fucking irrelevant, man. Like Dave said, break even, make money, lose money. And like Randy said, We never ever have access to any of that information. Bringing it back to the whole Bud Crawford situation, right? Because this is what Bud Crawford wanted access to, right? I'm getting a percentage of the back end. I want to know what the expenses are so I can figure out how much I'm making. These motherfuckers never ever release that shit. So we have no idea if
that's a whole different topic.
All right, but wait. We have no idea if these events are successful or if they are not successful because we never ever, like Randy pointed out, we never ever have access to any of that information. All we know is pay-per-view buys. This event did this many buys, right? And we don't know if the promoters profited or they lost money or they broke even. So
to me, I'm going off of, like, I follow Errol Spence, and he talked about how he does his contract. So he's on PBC, and I don't see how he does it one way, and then the rest of the fighters on PBC does it the other. Like when he does a fight, he get guaranteed a small percentage, like 1 million, 2 million for a big fight, and the rest of that money he gets on the back end. Versus where Terrence Crawford was getting that top rank, where he was. That's why Top Rank was mad. It was like, look, we giving you $6 million to fight Amir Khan. We giving you $4 million to fight Kell Brook and Kavaliakis. That money never came back. So, but that was guaranteed upfront money where he was making 5 and plus. Where PBC. And I know at least Errol Spence, I haven't looked at the other ones, but Errol Spence says he signed his contract getting 1 million, 2 million on his pay-per-view, and the rest of that money is on the back end. And that's how he gets 6 million.
So you're faulting Bud. I mean, to me, Bud seems to have a good.
Y'all are. It's always everybody gets PBC fucking up the model, blah 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 blah. No, if his model is like what Errol is doing, that seems logical to me. Guarantee me 1 million, but then I'm gambling on myself that it's going to do well, and I will make that $3, $4, $5 million back.
Right. If you have access, if you 100% trust the person you're doing business with, and you have an attorney, and you have access to all the books.
All right. So I'm giving Dave. This is a question for you as a promoter. Take out names. You're a promoter and you have your fighter. That's A side. You go find a B fighter that has no promotion. That the negotiation is between the fight itself. But now this B fighter comes to you and say, I want to see what you paying for this venue. I want to see what you paying for concessions. I want to see what you paying for everything in what you making for t-shirts. You do you as a promoter, do you do that? Do you get
that's a disingenuous way of framing it? That's a disingenuous
that's a promotion. That's a promoter. That's what you do as a promoter.
That's not
what you're leaving out. What you're leaving out is Dave in this scenario will be guaranteeing the B fighter a percentage of the net revenue or percentage of the back end. That's what you left out because that is apparently
you're going to get a percentage of the back end.
But you left that out, Randy. You didn't say that shit.
So that's a big difference on just getting a percentage of the growth.
Hold on. I'm not even going over this hypothetical, the end part, because that has never been proven that was it. That was in the contract. Because if it was, then you're saying that Bud.
So you're saying that they're lying, that they just lied and made that up, that they were getting the net?
I don't think that 35%. I think that came out of nowhere. His nephew said that was a lie, and he said he signed the contract.
Well, that they were getting a percentage of the net.
No, he said he got the lowest percentage. He never said he gonna get the back end 35% and not know the rest of the shit that's going on. He never said that. Bud never said that.
I thought it was reported
the report that they were gonna get.
Yeah, because Max Kellerman did a whole fucking show on the shit.
Fuck Max Kellerman.
Oh, right, because it doesn't suit your narrative. So fuck Max Kellerman.
I'm going by the person. I'm going by the quotes from the fighter's mouth. Listen. Bud said he agreed to the fucking contract. He said he agreed to everything in the contract.
No. Bud
not
said
Bud.
I agree
Spence
to all
that.
their BS.
He agreed. So you saying he agreed to everything in the contract? What are you saying?
Well, I don't know if that's exactly what that.
Oh shucks.
Yeah, I don't know if that's exactly what that shit
Well, like
means.
first of all, like I don't know, like why do you keep bringing up like
Dave,
Bud's cousins and nephews? Like
this guy, man, he's supposed to be
those
a
are not
fucking professional
reliable
analyst guy. This guy
like
works
that's kind of
been
like
an analyst his whole fucking life.
I know
Bud's cousin and shit as a reliable source of information.
Said this like those are not like I don't care what nobody who says that they related to this. Like why?
Thank you.
Like why are you bringing that up as like a viable resource?
He has more fucking authority.
Like how do you know?
Where did Max Kellerman get his information from? Was he sitting?
He has reliable sources, and all of us go to ESPN News and all that, and we're not listening to anybody's like cousins, uncles, nephews, and to say that because they just won't.
He was right.
But peep this, Cam. But peep this. We can't believe Floyd Mayweather, even though Floyd Mayweather talked to Al Heyman every day. And Al Heyman is a second father to Floyd. Don't believe Floyd, but believe Terrence Crawford's fucking nephew or cousin or whatever the fuck, man. Get out of here, man.
I'm talking straight from the source's mouth, and y'all talking about second, third-hand access. That's the difference.
Randy, if somebody talked to your niece or something like that, and they were saying about how much you were getting paid or something like that.
Why ain't you addressing what Crawford said that he agreed?
Come on, let me finish my point. If somebody talked to your niece or your nephew,
what you said,
and they ask you like how much Randy get paid or doing that, is that a reliable source?
If he's part of your camp, yes.
I don't care.
What is his history? You were analyst.
That's just like what's his name? Benny the boxer. Benny the boxer been reporting on this fight for months.
Right. How long? What is his nephew's history of reporting on the events? What's his history? What's his track record?
Care. But he can't.
You know what his history of reporting is?
You don't care at all.
So all right. So I don't give a. So what I'm saying is,
you hired him today. If you hired Randy to work for you, this guy writing up. This guy's an analyst. Relying on unreliable sources of information. Go ahead, finish. Go ahead.
So if somebody who has placement and access states something, I'm not gonna jump out and say, oh, I'm gonna take that as word. But when the exact source come out and back up what he said, he came back and said he agreed to everything that PBC has given. So, and then you got the WBC president saying that, yeah, the contracts has been sent out. Spence has been signed his, and Crawford we haven't heard back from him. So that's three sources. And he came back and said that, yo, I had never heard about that money situation that they're talking about. So that's three sources. The source itself, somebody with placement and access, and the head of the WBC who drafted the contract. So no, I'm not going to listen to goddamn ESPN.
All right.
Well, tell me about analyst skills.
Yeah, all right. We've been talking about this, it seems like, for a couple of months now, but we do need to move on to our last topic, which is the return of Lomachenko. He is fighting Jermaine Ortiz. A lot of people might not know about Ortiz, but he is an undefeated fighter. He is 16-0-1. His last win was probably his most, if not impressive, his most notable win. He beat Jamel, the former
Jamel Herring.
Jamel Herring in the 10-round decision, and he is getting an opportunity to basically kind of put himself on the map. I did look at one of his previous interviews, and he spoke about his one of his kind of boxing goals, which seems a little kind of short-sighted, was to actually be the first person to give Shakur Stevenson a loss. But he is up against it. He's somebody. They list him as orthodox, but watching him fight, he doesn't mind switching in. Like he he fights pretty effective from the southpaw stance. But he is a Lomachenko is a 10-1 favorite in this fight. So we're probably not going to see a lot of money coming in there. But we actually don't know where Lomachenko is at in this part of his career. So of course he's been out of action for a minute because he went to serve for his country, Ukraine, in a part of the war. And the last time that we saw Lomachenko in the ring was in December of 2021, where he had a unanimous decision, a very impressive one, I would say, against Richard Comey. So let's start with Coach and then we'll kind of work our way to Boston and to the casual one. And what do you expect to see out of Lomachenko? So of course, if he wins this fight, he is petitioning, we should say, to get an opportunity to fight for the undisputed lightweight championship against Devin Haney.
I think Lomo probably beat this guy, man. I didn't have a chance to really these the way I normally would, man. But just looking at a couple of highlights and just trying to check the guy out, man. I don't think Lomo's gonna have a lot of problem with this guy. The momentary, temporary explosions and sporadic explosion that this guy seemed to do, this Ortiz guy. I think Lomachenko, and again, we don't know. The Ukraine war took stuff out of him. The time off took some out of him, but I think he'll get past this guy. Top rank, do whatever they need to do to work their magic. He gets that Haney fight, and Haney dusts off. That's where I see his going.
You think so? Yeah. So the guy I did want to mention, he is. I think that was a good kind of summation of the guy's style, right? He does have these kind of explosions where he does these kind of combinations, and he does have nice quick twitch muscles, and he has fairly good size for the weight class, and he is 26 years old. He has youth on his side, and he has the size on his side as well. And even though Lomachenko is only 34 years old, to me he seems like an older 34. I think just because of his long amateur history. Actually, so Boston, this guy is actually up from your parts. He's from Worcester. He's
from Worcester.
Worcester. Yeah. Worcester. Massachusetts.
It's a ways away from the city, man. It's like Baltimore in relation to DC or something like that. It's about an hour outside the city, but yeah.
Oh man, man, that's close enough.
It is. In the Northeast, everything's a lot closer than it is when you start getting south of like DC and shit like that. But yeah, I would love to see Jermaine Ortiz pull off the upset. But it's tough for me to see. Even if the fight is competitive, if Ortiz is able to make the fight competitive, it's tough for me to see him getting a decision given what we know. Because Bob Arum told us exactly what the hell he wanted to do, right? He wants to make Devin Haney versus Vasiliy Lomachenko. So even if Ortiz is competitive, man, I don't see him coming away with a decision unless he's somehow able to stop Loma. And I just don't see that. This is such a huge step up for him. But look, maybe Lomachenko gets old. Maybe he gets old overnight. Like you pointed out, Cam, this guy's got a ton of amateur fights, a lot of wear and tear. This guy's had a surgery or two, if I'm not mistaken. And the last guy that gave him trouble was a guy in Toledo. Teofimo, but aside from Teofimo was Toledo. And both of those guys were a little bit bigger than him. They were more natural 135 pounders. And they were twitchy, kind of explosive guys. So wouldn't be surprised if Loma, given the time off, given what Jermaine Ortiz brings to the table, maybe goes 12 with this guy, and Jermaine Ortiz has his moments. But I don't see Jermaine Ortiz being able to do enough to get a decision. So I'd love to be able to see him upset the apple cart. I just don't see it. I gotta go with Lomachenko in 12.
Well, let me throw. Hey, look, let me throw a caveat in there, man. Let me throw a caveat in there too. And again, and what I'm gonna do too, Cam, is I'm gonna seriously go back and look at this guy with an eye, instead of just a quick glance, like kind of like what I gave him. But I will say, even just from a quick glance, right? If Lomo got those angles and movement is not there, he's gonna be in trouble with this kid. Because the kid does sit down and he'll punch. This kid, and again, now I'm coming at you. When I say at first glance, I mean just a couple of clips, some highlights at this guy. Not really studying him like I normally would do. But I'm gonna do that, before the fight and come back with my prediction on it. But I will say, if Lomo stands there and he's old and he doesn't move, this kid is gonna touch that boy's body like he ain't never been touched before. I think. I'll put it like that. And I don't know what you saw in the kid, but that's what I think, man.
How old's Lomachenko?
He is 34 years old.
Yeah, 34 with a lot of miles on them legs of his, man. A lot of fights, a lot of rounds boxed. So, and this kid is very, very fresh.
Yeah,
with,
man.
Not much amateur experience. Certainly not the hundreds of fights we see from some of these high-level amateurs. And 16 pro fights, man. This kid's fresh. The kid's hungry. Hopefully it's interesting. I hope it's a good fight. I hope it's interesting.
It's gonna be interesting, man. But this kid's boxing skill still is nowhere near Lomo's. But what's gonna make it interesting? I'm telling you, if Lomo sit his ass still, trying to prove a point, then this kid's gonna shock him. That youth and that kid's attack to the body, man, gonna shock Lomo, man. That's my two cents.
Salido wasn't the boxer that Lomachenko was either. But Salido was a journeyman.
But he was also a wily veteran that kind of knew all the tricks of the trade.
That is also true. A lot more experience with
he had a lot more experience. So with this said, the casual ran, throwing it to you. So this fight at the Hulu Theater, at the MGM, at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden.
In Madison Square Garden. So it's kind of like a smaller area, but what do you think? And we can kind of talk about Top Rank. So Top Rank has been trying to sell Lomachenko as this kind of viable commodity that hasn't necessarily caught on, right? So he's not necessarily a pay-per-view person. He hasn't necessarily even kind of resonated with the casual fans, right? He does have a bit of a following in New York because of their international and Ukrainian population. But do you see that him being able to, let's say if he's able to win this fight and go and fight a Devin Haney, do you see that as a pay-per-view fight? Or, what do you kind of situate that within the boxing landscape?
Yeah, I think Haney, Lomo is a pay-per-view fight. But the question is Haney going to stay at that weight and wait till probably, September next year? If, you know what I'm saying? It might be May. Spring. They will fight in the spring. Yeah, Haney has one more fight under contract, right?
It was a 3-fight deal.
If Haney want to stick them like he got stuck with that contract, he'll move up and let all the belts go into the 4 wins. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Bob Arum would love for Lomachenko to be the undisputed champion.
But with Haney, wouldn't that be and I kind of studied before, wouldn't that be a star-making opportunity? Like if he beats and really, as coach thinks that he would, serves it to Lomachenko, even though, right, I'm contradicting myself in a sense that I say he hasn't kind of resonated. He has resonated everybody who knows about boxing knows about Lomachenko.
Yeah, but
he can do a job on him.
Look how bad he looked at the Kambosos fight. So I'm talking about weight. Wait,
just how his body looks.
So I mean, I think if he naturally pulls the Terrence Crawford card and goes, who has the belt at 140?
Well, it's splintered now, but I believe Josh Taylor has at least a piece of it.
Yeah, Josh Taylor's got two.
So just pull the Terrence Crawford card and challenge the champion at 140.
Yeah, but he wouldn't. So you're saying that instead of taking a pay-per-view fight against not a superstar, but against a boxing star and somebody who was in the top 10 of pound for pound, you don't think so? The guy's 20. I mean, I do understand how he looked at the scale, but he is 23 years old, right? So I understand if you were 33, or sort of like Chris Eubanks, and you were trying and looking how you looked at the scale, but if you're 23, you don't think that he would take that opportunity?
I mean, to me, it's 50-50. I wouldn't care if he stayed to defend his belts, or if he went up to 140 and fought somebody with the name. I think it's about the same to me. Yeah, it's just.
I'll tell you what. If Randy's onto something, so Josh Taylor's getting ready to get this rematch on with Jack Catterall, who he beat very, very controversially several months ago. Josh Taylor beats Jack Catterall, vacates because he's starving himself to make this weight. I don't care what anybody says. He's got to move up. Teofimo Lopez is the #1 ranked fighter in the WBO. Now, if you're Devin Haney and you're thinking about dollar signs, you absolutely enforce that WBO clause where you can move up and challenge the #1 guy or the title holder for that belt. So what you'd get hypothetically is Taylor beating Catterall, Taylor vacates, that belt's up for grabs. Teofimo Lopez is the #1. Devin Haney enforces his WBO magic clause, and you get Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney for that WBO belt.
I mean, see that than Lomachenko.
Yeah, and then you're not really having to go on Weight Watchers to fucking make weight and shit like that. And I honestly think Teofimo Lopez is I don't know, Dave. What do you think is the more winnable fight for him? You think Devin Haney versus Teofimo at 140, or versus Lomachenko at 135? What's less danger?
Damn. Less dangerous, probably. I say Lomo, man. I'm sorry.
Maybe, right? Because Lomo don't have that power. Lomo don't have that.
He could get slept by Teofimo.
Yeah, I say less dangerous is Lomo. Yeah.
Well, Lomachenko. I mean, Teofimo hit that last guy he fought with a lot of shots, and it took. That was a power.
Bigger guy, and
I'm Jonathan Melton. I'm proud to serve you.
Oh, God damn it. Who is that?
That ain't me.
That was Professor Nims.
I don't know what that was.
You gonna fuck around and get us flagged.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, even if Teofimo is the more dangerous, I mean, you just avoiding the inevitable. Even if he fight Lomo, that's pretty much his last fight. He's not going to stay there and campaign. So you might as well go.
No, but I'm saying, like, we saw how Josh Taylor looked at his last fight with that, right? So he looked, and this Josh Taylor is not nearly as young. The guy's only 23 years. We've seen guys look like that, and it's just that when somebody
he already wants to move up. He already wants to move.
I mean, every fighter wants. What fighter you haven't talked to that hasn't said, like, man, I'm moving up? Every fighter wants to move up because every fighter hates cut weight.
Cam.
All right, when he moves up, he drops 4 belts.
So Cameron, which one's more? I mean, you as a fighter, which one would you rather do? Would you rather defend or go up and challenge?
Oh, I'm already a champion, so I don't want it. So as soon as I go up, I'm not a champion, and then
so you challenge, but you're challenging for a belt. Are you? So do you be like, okay, I made the pinnacle, so let me just keep defending at 135?
Well, I think that against somebody who I think could be a star-making performance.
Teofimo, that's a star-making performance.
Yeah, but he also gets swept.
Randy's leaving out some pretty critical elements to that equation. I think Devin versus Teofimo, that might be a pay-per-view fight, man. It might be. It's something that they would at least have to consider if you're the ESPN decision makers. I mean, yeah, and if you're Devin, again, you're not having to go on fucking the POW diet to make the weight. You're coming in nice and strong against a guy who technically is not as good as Loma and is less experienced. And again, I don't know that Teofimo's power is the same at 140 as it was at 135. He was hitting that last guy he fought with a lot of clean shots. And eventually the power got to him.
He got him out of there. But I mean, we saw somebody like Devin Haney was hitting Kambosos with a lot of clean shots. He wasn't near to getting that guy out there. And even though Lomachenko he stopped his previous, not Comey, but the one before that, Nakatani. I don't see him being able to kind of put that type of hurt on him. But I think that selling Haney against Lomo for a vacant title, unless you have a really, really strong.
No, Teofimo.
I mean, excuse me, against Teofimo at 140 for a vacant title. I think that you would struggle to sell that as a paper.
Are you sure? Because Teofimo Lopez got Bud Light. Teofimo Lopez is in a Bud Light commercial.
I mean, seen it.
I saw it. I was just Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is in a GMC commercial that just came out like a week ago. Yeah. He's in Gatorade commercials, GMC commercials. Teofimo Lopez is in Bud Light commercials now on ESPN.
Well, I mean that's one of his sponsors now. I mean, I don't know.
Who else doing them kind of commercials?
I would love to do an experiment when just go down the street and say, do you know who Teofimo is, or do you know who Lomachenko is? And
I mean, in New York City, you're probably going to get. It depends on where you at. In New York City, it could be 50-50. But let me ask Dave a question. Dave, we've kind of talked about this before. Do you think, given what we've discussed with Devin Haney and his really, really, really having to cut to make weight, do you think his punching power increases when he goes up in weight, or does it stay about the same, or is it just impossible to know?
No, it's not impossible to know. And all honesty, man, so this, let me give you my answer, man. So, because it could go either way. And it's always going to be about, so remember, that punching power is always going to be about the delivery. So Haney's, boxing, throwing the jab, kind of on the outside, not really super duper even sitting down now. You know what I'm saying? As at the current weight. If he moves up and maybe those guys hit a little harder, at what 140, some of those guys might be coming down 10 pounds or whatever to make that weight, so that strength might be there. It might even hit him in his mind a little bit more, not even to sit down. Let me really work my damn jab and not be there. So I can't say, his punching power should increase. It should increase, but it's still going to be about the delivery of that shot. If I'm always on the go and moving and not sitting down, throwing those punches, I'm not going to be hitting as hard as I'm going to hit. I'm going to honestly be taking away damn near 25-30% of my power. Then if I take some time and sit down instead of doing a little, trying to get out there, man. There might not be an answer you look for, but I can tell you that if he goes up in weight, he puts on the strength, that it should. And anybody that tells you that you can't, a person hit as hard as they hit, that's a lie. You can increase your punching power based off of both strength and delivery. If I'm hitting you like this, that might not hurt as hard as if I hit your ass like that. So anybody that tell you can't teach punching power or you can't develop power, you hit as hard as you hit, period, they're lying to you. You can increase your punching power. So he should hit harder. I just don't think he really would, because he'd still be on his bike, and probably more so on his bike, because those individuals at that weight hit a lot damn harder. He gonna be like,
they're gonna be, and I'm looking at it, he hasn't stopped an opponent since he retired Abdullayev in the fourth round, and that was in 2019. But a lot of times as you step up in competition, those knockouts go down. But I think part of it is just his kind of mentality, as Coach was talking about, right? So part of it is that he's looking to punch and kind of get out of there. But he's a classic boxer, which is hit and not get hits in there. But he's that not get hit is very, kind of close in his psyche. So as soon as he is hitting, he's looking to get out and not take punishment.
Well, let me ask. So, Dave, what did you make of Teofimo's power? Another guy, 135 guy, moving up. Did you see the same kind of power that he demonstrated at 135 pounds? Because to me, the power was not quite the same. Because, like you said, you're fighting against guys who are coming down from 160 pounds, 165 pounds, or whatever, down to now 140 pounds. And so what did you make of Teofimo's power?
So it's gonna be always a mixture of both, man. When you get up in there, man, I still think Teofimo has the power. Now I can't speculate and talk about the chin in terms of the opponents, because that's just gonna always be a factor too, man. It's gonna be the delivery and the resistance of the chin that you're trying to throw that thump on, man. So I think Teofimo's power is still there. That last, I think the last fight, whatever, when he was hitting the guy a lot, was like a fight where he was coming back. Who knows what was on his mind, man? I don't know. I hope I'm thinking about Teofimo. Am I thinking about Ryan Garcia?
Well, Teofimo, they both got stoppage wins in their last.
Yeah, it was but with Ryan Garcia, he was probably a little more dominant. And this was like Teofimo. He hadn't fought in a while, in almost a year, and he was just kind of coming off of the loss.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. So Teofimo coming off of the loss, and I got to prove that I'm back. So I don't know what his mind. So I think that guy has his power is still there, and I can't wait to see even his next fight. Because I think he's more settled, because he got a stoppage his last one, right? But I think he
did in 7.
I think he'll be more settled. I think his punching power remains, and I think anybody at that weight, is going to have some problems. Kind of like almost even with Tank. I think Tank go up or down. I think that boy's power just going to stay because of the delivery and how he punches. You know what I'm saying? And how he punches.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. But I think that's something to discuss, and we don't want to kind of get away. We're assuming that Lomachenko will come out of this fight against Jermaine Ortiz, and we want to give him credit, but we if based on their skill set and their records and their opponents, he should be able to come out of this fight. And for me, I think it's maybe more of a one. I think I would love to see, even though he's already defended his undisputed titles against Kambosos, I would love to see him have a star-making performance against Lomachenko. And I think it could also happen against Lopez, but I think there's a lot more risk that's there. But those are the things that we want to see. But I also think it's going to be probably a lot easier to make that Lomachenko fight.
They're both top-ranked fighters. And to your point, Cam, he beats Lomachenko and then moves up. He's going into that Teofimo Lopez fight with a lot of momentum. A lot of momentum. Yeah. Leverage at the negotiating table. You're talking about probably maybe significantly more money that you're making coming off of a Lomachenko win. So it's something that the Haney camp, they're really, really going to have to sit, and they're going to have to think really, really hard about the next move. It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
And the longer they stay at 135, you forget about Shakur coming up.
Well, Shakur is already up.
Yeah,
he's already dropped his belt.
So,
I mean, you got him and you got this kid, Keyshawn Davis is the other cat, but he's not really a factor, I guess, but because of the number of fights he's got. But it's it's going to be interesting to see what they do, man. It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah. But I mean, the first thing that kind of everything, it becomes a moot point that Lomachenko has to do is business on there. So let's go ahead to round out. Let's go ahead and get your prediction. So one, I want to say that according to MGM, Lomachenko is a 2,000 to 1 favorite. So, a 20 to 1 favorite, but he's negative 2,000. So meaning that you would have to bet $2,000 to get back $100. And even though he was close to a 10 to 1, I saw that Ortiz was a negative 900. So maybe like a 9 to 1 underdog. So meaning that $100 bet on him if he wins will get you back $900. So let's start with the Boston. Let's go ahead and get your predictions for this fight.
Look, I already said, man, my heart is with Jermaine Ortiz, man, but my head is with Loma, man. I got Loma. I got Loma in 12.
Loma in 12. All right. So you're not gonna take the crazy odds. All right, Coach Dave, what is your prediction? What is your pundit pick for this weekend?
Hey, look, man, I normally don't do this, and I got it all jacked up the last time too. With this, but them odds though. You said 100. I could bet $100 and then what?
Get back.
Win 900.
Get 900, and it might even go up to 1,000. Yeah.
Right. You better.
Hey, man, I probably drop $1,000 on daggone Ortiz. It'd be worth losing.
Worth it, man.
Yeah, but so the boxing side of me will say Lomo by decision. And but I just really want everybody to hear my caveat about this kid. He's explosive at times, sporadically, but he can punch when somebody just stupid enough to stand there with him. Boy can punch and go to the body, man. So I'm gonna say Lomo by decision, but I'm a damn sure caveat and say you stand still to prove a point. This young kid gonna hurt you.
And Loma's been down twice. Loma's been dropped by Luke Campbell and Jorge Linares.
This kid will hurt Lomo, and he punches a lot. So Lomo by decision. Be smart. Get the hell on up out of there. Do what you got to do. But you stand there being stupid, this dude gonna hurt you, and he gonna hurt you early.
All right, the casual one. What is your pundit pick?
Man, nothing different. Lomo by decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna end it with my pundit pick. So I got Loma. I think that Loma will have enough just kind of boxing, guile to kind of get through. But I think we might even see him get a little bit old in this fight. So I think it's going to be a tougher than expected decision for Lomachenko. But as soon as I unfreeze, I'll finish my point. So I'm going to go with him. I'm not going to go with the crazy odds. But so I think there you have it. I think all the pundits are picking Lomachenko to win by a decision. Some saying maybe a tough decision. Coach has his caveat to say that if he does, in fact, get old in this fight overnight, that you might see an upset. So if you are feeling a little jumpy, go ahead and put down 100 or 2 or maybe 3 on your man Jermaine Ortiz and see how that works out for you. So with that said, this is Professor Nims. I am signing off for the pundits of pugilism. I want to make sure that you do like and subscribe to this channel. We also want to hear your comments, right? So we want to look for ways to kind of improve the show. If you want to get at some of the pundits, we encourage all of that, but we're looking to grow this channel And we appreciate all of y'all for rocking with us. Keep it popping, y'all. Peace out.